I think everybody understands today that the war that are going today, it's not about territory, it's a religious war. A religious war between Ishmael and Israel. And if Ishmael is fighting us with their religion, we have to know and understand where are we standing? What is our standing as Jewish people, as Klal Israel, and opposite the force of Ishmael? And Lashon Rambam in the Geras Teimon, ואתם אחינו דעו, you should know, כי השם השליחנו ברוב עווננו באומה הזו. The Rambam was among the Ishmaelim, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu put Klal Israel in those ways between them. כלומר, אומה ישמעאליס רבת המשטמה לנו, והמתחכמים להרע לנו. They hate us, and they're finding ways to harm us, ולשנוא אותנו, כמו שיעד לנו ישאה לב אויבינו פלילים. ולא עמדה על ישראל כלל, אומה צוררס יויסר ממנה. In the time of the Rambam, there was no nation or harm Klal Israel like Ishmael. ולא היה מי שהפליג בהכנעתנו והשפלתנו וחיזוק שנאתנו כמו ישראל. No one did so much to hate and to do bad to Klal Israel. עד שדוד מלך ישראל, כאשר צפה ברוח הקודש, כל הרעות שיעברו על ישראל, when David המלך saw what would happen to Klal Israel, לא צווח ולא הליל ולא שיבה בלשון כל האומה. He didn't complain about the whole nation, אלא ממלכוס ישמעאל. אומר, אויה לי, גרתי משך, שכנתי עמו עלי קדר. אוי ואבוי, said David המלך. The time that Klal Israel will live among Ishmael, כי גרתי משך, שכנתי עמו עלי קדר, which is Ishmael. Posuk said in Dvorim, ונוסן השם אלוהיכךו, את כל העולויס האלה, על אויביכו ועל שונאיכו אשר רדפוכו. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Be'ezer Hashem, will give all these kloles on oivecho and soinecho. There's two types here. There's oivim and soinim. So the Sforno writes, ala komim alecho v'ala soinim bilvovo. Komim alecho is with action. Soinim is bilvovo, with the heart. So obviously, what he means, what the Malbim writes in Vayikro, ha'oyev eivose gluyo, v'asoneh sin'oso ne'elemes. Oyev, the meaning of oyev, that you see openly, his actions and everything, he's an animosity, he's an enemy. V'asoneh, he hates you, but you don't see it, it's hidden inside. ואף על פי שייתכן שתצא שנאוסו לפועל על ידי פעולות נגלות שהם תולדות עשינו. Sometimes the hatred will come out and he'll do some actions, but עיקר ושורש שנאוסו היא בלב. Generally, he doesn't show it so much, and his hatred is hidden in his heart. So, this is what the Sforno said. אויביכו is הקומים עליכו, the people who fight us. Sonecho is bilvovom in his hearts, it's hidden. Rabbeinu Bechaya writes, Oivecho is Ishmael, Sonecho is Esau. So, this is what the Rambam writes. Oyev mar liYisrael ki Ishmael. Even though we suffered so much from Esau, but still, obviously, there's some special hatred and special animosity or oyev that we have from Ishmael more than Esau, different way. There's oivim and there's soinim. So we're now facing the war with oivecho, as the Rambam said, and as the Posuk said, and we saw from Rabbeinu Bechaya, Eivecho, which is Ishmael. And we have to understand how can we, each one of us, what do we have to do in this time and era that we understand that we're here and we don't know what we're still facing. We're now in Gaza, who knows what will happen. Mitzofo chas v'shalom shelo tipos acharo. From the north, what is our tafkid? What is our war with Ishmael? And there's another interesting thing that we can see today. Even though that it should be that the philosophy of Ishmael and Esau are completely opposite. And today, the progressive ideas is completely colliding with Ishmael, almost the opposite, but the joining forces. Who is supporting Ishmael? All the progressive, the Western world with all the progressive mind, they are the biggest supporters of Ishmael. And this is really, you could see what the Goen writes, the Sifra that's new said. It said, Esav loshna Goen is, Esav rotzo lizdaveg im Ishmael uleachiv es ha'olam sod ha'kedusha v'sod Yaakov. Esav wanted to join forces to marry Ishmael and to destroy the world, sod ha'kedusha v'sod Yaakov. Ulekach vayistom Esav es Yaakov. Esav hated Yaakov. וכסיב וילך עשו אל ישמעאל, ויקח את מחלס בת ישמעאל. He took the daughter of Ishmael because he wanted to join forces with Ishmael in order to destroy the world, which is Soid HaKdusha v'Soid Yaakov. So the Soine, which is Esau, is using the power of Ishmael, and they are together joining forces to destroy Klal Yisrael, Chas v'Sholem. And this is what we daven on Sliches, Kaleh Seir v'choisnoi v'yalu letzion Moshiim. Who is Seir v'choisnoi? Seir is Esau. Who is Choisnoi? Choisnoi is Shver, his father-in-law, Ishmael. He took the daughter of Ishmael. We daven to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Kaleh Seir v'choisnoi. This is Seir, and his Shver, his Choisnoi. They wanted to destroy Klal Yisrael. And then v'yalu letzion Moshiim. And then we'll see the HaKadosh Baruch Hu will send Mashiach. And there's already ariches about it in the Megala Amukos, that the Isur of Loitachrish, Beshor v'chamor yachdav, with these two koichos of Ishmael and Esau, that when they are together, there's a big danger for the whole existence of the world. In Parshas Vayechi it said that Yankov Avinu is telling Yosef, ונתתי לך שכם אחד על אחיכו, אשר לקחתי מיד האמורי בחרבי ובקשתי. So what the Targum brings בחרבי ובקשתי with my sword and with my bow and arrow, so the Targum said בצלויסי ובאוסי. It's a Gemara. It's a Gemara בבא עשרה. לא שנה Gemara. וכי בחרבי ובקשתי לא כך. יעקב אבינו took Shechem with his sword, with his arrows, no. אבל לא כבר נאמר, כי לא ביקשתי אפתח וחרבי לא יתשעני. יעקב אבינו is not relying on חרב, he's not relying on keshes. This is not what Yaakov Avinu is relying on. אלא חרבי זו תפילו, וקשתי זו בקושר. The sword that we have is tefillah, and the arrow, the bow and arrow that we have is bakosher. So the Maharsha explains, what does it mean, becharbi uvekashti bitfilosi ubebakoshosi? Esau, his power is cherev. Al char bechotichi, HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Esau. Against the koyach of Esau, of al char bechotichi, we have becharbi tfilosi. Against Esau, that his koyach is keshes. It said, vayiroi vekashos, said the Maharsha, our koyach is bakoshosi. So when we're fighting Seir v'choisnoi, when we're fighting Esav and Ishmael, what is our Charbi and Kashti? What is our sword? What is our keshes? Tfilosi and Bakoshosi. So we have to understand.
Raise it up a little bit. It's very touchy.
Okay. So they are coming, Esav, Vayikach Esav, Esbas Ishmael, they're facing us now, and they want to destroy the world, as the Goyen said. And we're standing with our Charbi and Kashti. We have to understand the deep meaning of it. What is our Cherev? What is our Keshes? Why is Charbi Kashti Tfilosi? Why is Bakoshosi? And what do we have, in what part of the Charbi v'Kashti, our Charbi v'Kashti, our Tfilosi v'Koshosi, we have to emphasize in this time, in this sakona that we're facing. There's another koyach we have against Ishmael. Rabbeinu Bechaya writes that the muzzle of Ishmael is muzzle of Akrov, scorpion, and Akrov nosun tachas memsheles Milo. It has to do with our Milo. We have to explain a little bit deeper what is the meaning of Charbi v'Kashti. Why is Milo? Is Akrov, memsheles Ishmael, the tachas memsheles muzzle Akrov, and we have the koyach of Milo against it. What's the meaning of it? And it looks like another interesting thing, the Ruach HaKodesh Shafio beBeis HaMedrash of Baal HaNesivos HaMishpot. Nesivos HaMishpot brings, there's a Gemara in Baba Basra, Ein Gimel, all these Agadas of Rabbi Bar Chana. So the Gemara brings a story that Rabbi Bar Chana said, Zim nechada v'kazlina besfino. One day I was going on a boat, and I saw an island, and the island had something was growing on the island, and I thought, it's an island. So we went down from the Sfino, and we sat on this island, and we made a fire to cook something. But it wasn't really an island. It was a very big fish, some kind of a whale. And when we felt on his back the fire, it went down. Vilmole asfina kroivo, and if not, that the boat was very close to us, we would have drowned. Hainu toivim. Interesting. Myself, Rabbi Bar Chana. So the Nesivos, 200 and something years ago, writes, what is the meaning of it? The meaning of it is time will come that Klal Yisrael will rule another nation. So, Bnei Yisrael ishletu al shar umois, va'umois mechunes l'shem kavre dag, and the umois is called dag, a fish. Ve'mikonu tachas Bnei Yisrael, and they'll be under the control of Klal Yisrael. Ubnei Yisrael choshvu shu yaboshu, Klal Yisrael think, oh, Baruch Hashem, we settled already. We finished our problems. We control the situation. That they want to rule them completely. And then they'll rebel. This umo that you think you control will rebel. If not, the Mashiach is close. The danger from this nation that you think you control is so tremendous that chas v'sholem, without it, that Mashiach is close, we could drown. So you could see it. I mean, you could see how the Nesivos, in the time of the deep golus that he lived, so that there will be a time that we think, Klal Yisrael think, that's it, we settled. We have atchalte the geula. Everything is okay. We can control the people around us. But you could see this troubling time that we're in, that it's really a time of tremendous danger. And we have to understand, still, so what are we doing? The Novi in Zechariah, פרק טס, brings, מה עשו דבר השם בארץ חדרוך ודמשק מנוחוסוי, כי להשם אין אודום וכל שבטי ישראל. So חדרוך, so Rashi brings, דורש רבי יהודה בר אלוהי, זה משיח שהוא חד לאומס ורח לישראל. It's very harsh to the umas, very good for Israel. So this פרק טס of the Nevuah Zechariah is speaking about Bias HaMashiach, as Rashi brings. וגם חומוס תגבול בו צור וצידון כי חוכמו מועד. צור וצידון is Lebanon. ותבן צור מוצר לו. That Tzor will build some kind of a siege over Israel. הנה השם ירישנו ויקו וימחילו ויבאש תאוכל. תראה אשקלון וטירו ועזו. אשקלון ועזו is אורי פלישתים. עזו is גזה. ותאכל מאויד ואויקרון כאוביש מבוטו. ועובד מלך מעזו. And the king will be destroyed from Azo ואשקלון לא תשב. ויושב ממזר באשדוד והכרעתי גויים פלישתים. And I'll destroy and I'll take out וגאויים פלישתים, the power of פלישתים. וסירוי סדומו מפיו, and the Novi is continuing. גילי מאויד בס ציון, ארי בס ירושלים, הנה מלכך יובל לך צדיק ונוישהו, אני ורויכב על חמויר ועל עיר מנסוינויס. From this mapole of Plishtim, of the Ovad Melech Me'azo, comes Mashiach ben David, Oni v'roichev al chamoyer, that we all know, this is Mashiach ben David. So it looks like the Nevuah, very interestingly, the Nevuah of Zechariah, of Bias HaMashiach, goes through a falling of Melech Me'azo, of Tzor V'tzido in Lebanon. This is the Nevuah of Zechariah. So, obviously, Oni v'roichav al chamoir, it's not for stam. Nachlas David, usually we know the Nachlas David from Chidushim v'ukame b'mitzir v'basre, Sefer Nachlas David, but there's also Droshes Nachlas David. Reb David Tevel, the Talmud of Reb Chaim Volozhiner. And he writes that we have Oni v'roichav al chamoir, and Yaakov Avinu said, Vayhili shoir v'chamoir. When Yaakov is facing Esau, he said, Vayhili shoir v'chamoir. What is Vayhili shoir v'chamoir? So Nachlas David explains that against the koach of Esau, which is Midas Hadin, it's a ruined Midas Hadin, is a killer, or itzeach. We have Mashiach ben Yosef. We have our koach. Mashiach ben Yosef is against Esau. But Chamoir, Shvu lachem poem HaChamoir, which is Ishmael, against him we have Mashiach ben David, Oni v'roichev al chamoir. So obviously, the power that we have against Ishmael is Mashiach ben David, Oni v'roichev al chamoir, because Ishmael is nimshol lechamoir. So, what the Balaturim writes in the beginning of Parshas told us, it said, Al pnei kol echov nofal, when the Parshas Chayesoro finishes with Ishmael and all his told us, and then it said, it finished with the words, Al pnei kol echov nofal, וסומך brings the Balaturim, ואלה תולדות יצחק, לא אמר. כשיפול ישמעאל באחריס היומים, אז יצמח בן דוד שהוא מתולדות יצחק. When Ishmael will fall, Yitzchak will appear. What is Yitzchak? Mashiach ben David שהוא מזרעו של יצחק. Balaturim, a Rishon. So you can see from this Nevuah, and you can see from Vayili shoir v'chamoir, that against Ishmael we have Mashiach ben David. And we can see from this Balaturim that obviously the tzmichas Mashiach ben David comes with the falling of Ishmael. And Keren Yeshua's Klal Yisrael comes through the war with Ishmael, which is the times we are in here, so we have to prepare ourselves. So, we have to understand why is Zaru Shel Yitzchak, okay. But in one hand it said Ishmael, on the other hand it said Plishtim, right? V'bo melech v'nofal melech me'azo. Didn't we finish with the Plishtim many years ago? Where do we have Plishtim today? Do we have Plishtim? Do you have Plishtim? The Plishtim are gone. So what's the union of Plishtim? Bias Melech HaMashiach. It's true that our enemies call themselves Palestine, Plishtim, right? They're from Palestinians.
Right.
But where is Plishtim here? But David HaMelech writes in Tehillim, Perek Pei Gimel. Shir Mizmor LaYosef, Eloikim, al Domiloch, al Techash, val Tishko et Keil. Ki noivecho yemayun, umesanecho nosu roish. Your enemies are troubling you, and they are lifting their head, nosu roish. Al amcho yarimu soid v'siatzu al tfunecho, umru nechu v'nachidim igoyev lo yizoch Hashem Yisrael od. Your enemies are trying to destroy that Chas v'sholem be known more in the name of Klal Yisrael. Ki no yadu lev yachdov, alocho bris yichroisu. All together they're coming against you, and they have a breeze. They are signing a breeze against you, a treaty. אוהלי אדום וישמעאלים, מואב והגרים, גבול ועמון ועמלק, פלשס עם יויש וצור. Yeah, Palestinians with Lebanon, יויש וצור, גם אשור נלווה עמו, מישראל ולא יצא לו. So where are all these nations, where are these nations are coming from? So it said in פרקי דרב לזר, פרק מ"ג. רבי יוסי אומר, כשבא סנחריב לאורץ, ראו כל העמים שסביבו ישראל מחנה סנחריב וניסיירו הרבה מאוד, וברחו איש ממקום מאוד. All the nations around Klal Yisrael, when they saw the tremendous big force of Sancheriv, they got scared. And they ran each from his place. שנאמר ועשיר גבולוס עמים וכולי. ועמלק נכנס למדבר ונסער בבני ישמעאל, וכולם היו 10 עמים. They went to the desert and they assimilated with each other 10 nations. שנאמר, עולי אדום וישמעאלים, מואב הגרים, גבול ועמול ועמלק, פלשת יויש וצור. גם אשור נלווים עם עזרו לבני לא יצא לו. All these 10 nations were mingling together in the desert. וכולם עשידים לין פועל ביד בן דוד כאש לאובו. שנאמר, אלוהי קאיש יסיימו כגלגל, כקש לפני רוח וכלבת ילהת הרים, כנתיר דפי מסעריך. So we could see that Plishtim are among Ishmael and Amalek. It's all mix of all these nations. So we understand in the word of Zechariah that they have a source of Plishtim in there, and they're not stam, they're calling them the Palestinians, obviously, and they live in Gaza, and the war is in Gaza, until we'll see V'nofal Melech Megaza, as we saw in the Vula Zechariah. But it's still, things are going here. We have to understand, we have to look what's going on around us, and to see it's all in Chazal. And we're waiting for the Nephilah. The Nephilah will bring Mashiach, Oni v'roichev al chamoer, as it said in the Nevuah. So, we're now facing, we don't see it, Mashiach ben David. We're now, we see our enemies trying to destroy us. They want to, chas v'sholem, that from, as they said, from the river to the sea, chas v'sholem, there'll be no Klal Yisrael. So now, we'll go in a little bit more to our koyach against Ishmael. What is Klal Yisrael, and Ishmael? As we said, this religious war, what is our koyach? Balaturim, Parshas Lech Lecho brings Vekoroso. These 4 times it said Vekoroso. Vekoroso Shmo Ishmael, Vekoroso Schem Aro, וקראת שמו עמנואל, וקראת ישוע חוי מויסייך. By calling Ishmael, the Ro comes, וקורס אסכם הרו. It's a tremendous problem and tremendous bad things will happen to Klal Yisrael. But by calling Emmanuel, וקורס ישוע חוי מויסייך. The power of Yeshua is Emmanuel. What's the וקורס Ishmael, וקורס אסכם הרו? Because the Shmo Emmanuel, then this brings the Yeshua. It said in Pirkei Rab Lezer, Perek Lamed, Omar Bilom, Mishivim leshoinus shebo HaKadosh Baruch Hu bo Elomoi, לא ישם שמואל לאחד מהם אלא לישמעאל. From all the umas, said Bilam, all the umas that the Kadosh Baruch Hu created on the time, the creation of the umas, it said Piknablezer was in the time of the Raflogo. There were, Kadosh Baruch Hu made them Shivim Umois. But the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is only on Ishmael. ואויל וישווה הקדוש ברוך הוא שמוי של ישמעאל לשמוי של ישראל, אוי מי יחיה ביומוב, שנאמר אוי מי יחיה מסומו יקל. So the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu that called Israel, Yisrokel, also called on Ishmael, Ishmokel. And this is the trouble, this is the tremendous sakone of Ishmael. As it said here, Oy mi yachya misumo ikeil, how can we survive that HaKadosh Baruch Hu called the name on Ishmael? Oy mi yachya misumo ikeil. So, maybe the meaning of it, the Maharal explains that generally in the Nevuos we see these 4 galuyos, these 4 nations that have power over Klal Yisrael, which is Poras, Modai, Yovon, Edom. Where is Ishmael coming here? The Maharal is thinking, where is Ishmael in these 4 nations? So we have 2 ways. One way said maybe they have to do with Poras, which is also interesting, which is Iran. But the other thing, he said, no, Ishmael is completely different than the 4 Galuyos. These 4 powers that against Klal Yisrael, the whole existence that they have is because of Klal Yisrael, because they're taking from Klal Yisrael. Vayakasher Tori, the Parakta Udloim al Tzavrecho, HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Esau that from the falling of Klal Yisrael, you'll have your power. HaKadosh Baruch Hu give them a power to punish Klal Yisrael. It's because of us. But Ishmael said the Maharal never existed by himself. Avraham told him, V'lishmoel shma'aticho. HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Avraham, V'lishmoel shma'aticho. It's a different experience, different existence. So Ishmael, this is what it said here. Ishmael haven't existed not because of Klal Yisrael. He's got his own existence. All the nations, it's a shevet choivlim liYisrael. It's bringing up in Rabbi Tzchok Isaac Chover. The whole existence is shevet choivlim. We need somebody to threaten us if you don't do what you're allowed to do. And this is the existence, to threaten us, that we should keep Torah mitzvahs. But Ishmael haven't existed by himself. It's not tolui on us. So it's more dangerous. So Ishmael haven't power of Ishmael. Ishmael, HaKadosh Baruch Hu called his name on Ishmael. And not only that, he's got the right for Eretz Yisrael as well. It said in Chazal, in Zohar, ותוך חזי, זוהר פרשס והירו, 400 שנים קיימה וממונו דבני ישמעאל. The son of Ishmael, for 400 years, ובוי קם יקודשו בריחו, and he was demanding from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Omar leiman dis gazer is lechulko bishmach. Whoever has bris milah, ever chelek in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Omar lein, right? Omar leva Ishmael dis gazer, amay les lechulko bach kmo Yitzchok. Ishmael also have bris milah. Why doesn't Ishmael have a chelek in HaKadosh Baruch Hu like Yitzchok? Omar lei, da is gazer kedekayois v'tikunu v'dan lavachi. They have the right milah, and they don't have the right milah. Vayalu zimno disale d'Ishmael ba'alma v'izgoza. Oy vey that Ishmael was born, and he has bris milah, said the Zohar. Ma'avad kudsho brichu, archik l'ulevni Ishmael midvekuso dereilo, vayavlu chulke letase be'ara kadishe, begin the ugziro b'bohoin. Because they have bris milah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave them a power over Eretz Yisrael. וזמינים בני ישראל למשלט בהר הקדישו כדיר ריקניה מכל יוזים נסוגי. And Ishmael will be in Eretz Yisrael for a long time, but as long that Ishmael will be in Eretz Yisrael, Israel won't grow anything. It will be like a desert. כמו דגזירו דילון ברקניה דלא ישלימו. והנה יעקבו לבני ישראל לעשו לדוכתיו. And they won't let Klal Yisrael come back to Eretz Yisrael. Ad yishtolemu zchus of Bnei Shmuel until the zchus of Bnei Shmuel will be finished. So it's unbelievable. It said here in the Zohar that for many, many years, because the Shmuel have a bris milah, they'll have a right to be in Eretz Yisrael, but as long as they'll be in Eretz Yisrael won't grow anything. Why? Because the milah is milah reikonis, it's an empty milah. But Klal Yisrael, their milah is a milah b'shleimus, and this is fact. People who was here, I think Mark Twain was here 100 years ago, right? This is Eretz Zavas Cholev Udvash. There's nothing here, nothing grows there. It's called the green line because wherever there's Bnei Yisrael, it's green. Wherever there's Arabs, it's not green. So it said in the Zohar, because they have the right with their milah, and their milah is a milah reikonis, it's an empty milah. And our milah is a milah b'shleimus. What does it mean? What's the deep meaning of it? So we know that we have a milah and we have priya. We have two layers of milah that we're doing. And they have only the outside part of the milah, they don't have priya. This is milah reikanis. So obviously, in order to have Eretz Yisrael, from outside, just to live in Eretz Yisrael, it's enough one part of the milah. It's milah reikanis. But to have the inside of Eretz Yisrael, to have the fruits of Eretz Yisrael, the koach of Eretz Yisrael to be matzmiach, you need the inner part of the milah as well. And what is the meaning of two parts of milah? So we know the milah of the guf is keneged orla salev. The orla that we have in the guf is keneged orla salev. Like the Even Ezra, you have a sefer Yesod Moiro, he writes back, Ikores orla sabosor, yelo isbris ben odom ven boiro shleitanif nafshoy. The milah takes away also the problems that we have in the nefesh. ונאמיץ כולל שתענו מפני השם ותיקנו כאשר יסר אסכם ותבינו האמס שתסירו אורלס לבובכם ותכבדו לבבכם. So the orlas aguf takes away the orlas alev. And it's well known, the Shus Rabbi Akiva Eiger brings in Oiles Ephraim, that's why grandfather is mechuyev to melamed the grandson Torah is koidim lemilo, because you can only learn Torah through milah, because milah takes away the orlas alev. So you could say there's two layers of milah, it's connected two parts of orlas alev. What's the put orlas alev? So the Gro writes in Mishlei, there's two parts of Yetzer Hora, two types of Yetzer Hora. Ta'avoni and Ka'asoni. There's Yetzer Hora of Taive, there's Yetzer Hora of Gaive. And the biggest, the Goyen writes that the highest madarg of Gaive is the Kaas, is anger. So Taive is more pnimi. And Gaive is klapi chutz. So Milo, you could say, it's keneges orlas alev of Gaive, of outside, and Priya is keneged the Taive. So Bnei Esau don't have a milah at all. Ishmael have one part of the milah. Esau obviously have the koyach of Gaive. Ishmael doesn't have Gaive. But who they have a big koyach of Taive. And it said in the Gro, I think this is the meaning what the Gro writes in Likutim in Yoel Oyer, in the end of Vayikro. V'shor v'chamoir, הם beis mido yisakol yisakol ta'avoni v'ka'asoni, shem Esau v'Ishmael. ובעוד רוח ונפש, והחמור בו הטייבו, בשר חמורים, ישמואל, which is חמור, is טייבה, בשר חמורים סורום, ושול כעס, which כעס is גייבה. And Reb Avrom, the brother of the Goyen, Baal Male Satira, bring, ואומר הוזל, he brings from his brother, דמישהו מסיתרא דכעסוני, אם ירצה לפגוע באחר, דרכו להמיסו בחרב. Whoever is כעסוני, is using sword. Who is Kasoni? The Goyen said, sure, is Esau. Esau, unbelievable. וכן מצינו כסיב על חר בחותיכיו. ומישהו מסיטרי דתאבוני, דרכוי בקשס. וכן בישמואל כסיב רוי וקשוס. לפי שאין לו עוז להעמיד בקורב. והמולק have two forces. So, Ishmael is not Gavoni. That's why they believe in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Esau, for him, God is a person as well, because he can't make somebody higher than him. So if you have already God, it's a person. So it's nichno. But, Taive, Psar Chamorim Psorom, Sorokovim, Znus Yodel Oilom, Tishonot Lo Arviyeh. The big Taives they have, because they only take out the part of the Ole of against Gaive, but they leave part of Taive. So now we understand that even though we have part, there is Ishmael, there is Israel, Mi'ichem Isumo Ikel, he's got a muneh. He's davening to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He believes in his Kel Echot. But here we can find the point of the difference of Klal Yisrael and Ishmael. Avram had two sons, Ishmael, Yitzchok, right? We have to see a very interesting point. Avram was Moishe Nefesh, Akedas Yitzchok. We inherited Mesiras Nefesh from Yitzchok. Is Ishmael the same? Ishmael are ready to die for their beliefs. They bomb themselves and they don't care to die. Are they Moishe Nefesh like us? Is it the same Mesiras Nefesh? What is the point here? Ishmael are Moishe Nefesh, yeah. Alo Achbar, they're ready to die. But I think here's the point of the difference between Klal Yisrael and Ishmael. The Rambam writes in Akdome, Perek Chelek, it's never mentioned in the Torah what is really the Schar HaNitzchi, what is our reward for everything we're doing. Do anybody of you knows exactly what do we have in Olam Haba? We have no idea what it is. Do we urge for it? We want it so much. We don't know what it is. So the Rambam writes, why? If we would have known, we would have done everything for ourselves, because this is what we want to achieve, we want to be. We would forget HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We would have used HaKadosh Baruch Hu in order to get to what we want, because we want the reward. That's why HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't let us know what it is. Then we can think straight. If we want to do it, we don't want to do it. Nothing is pushing us, nothing is urging us to get Olam Haba, because we don't know what it is at all. I think who understood it the best? Muhammad. Because he writes in his Quran, what is Olam Haba? The lowest of the low taiva that people have. Because he knew his Ishmaelim, and he knew what's drive them, and what is the force that takes them. So what did you do? You kill yourself for what? To get close to Rebbeinu Shalom? No. To get your taivas. This is the Olam Haba. So Klal Yisrael, when they are Moishe Nefesh, they don't know what they're getting. They're doing it for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. When Ishmael are Moishe Nefesh, they're using the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The name of, Allahu Akbar. And what they're thinking of, what is driving them. The 70, I don't know what they describe them, they're getting. So, I heard once from Reb Moshe Shapira, Zichr Tzadik Levroche, that Arviyeh, Rashi brings mishtachvim le'afar sheberagleim, to the avak sheberagleim, to the dust. They're taking HaKadosh Baruch Hu to the lowest of the low that they have. They don't lift themselves after HaKadosh Baruch Hu. They're taking HaKadosh Baruch Hu down to the lowest thing that they have. They're using him for their lowest of the low. So this is, I think, the amkes of our milchome against Ishmael. כי לא בחר בי אבטח, ולא ביקשתי אבטח, the Gemara said. But we have בחר בי וביקשתי בתפילוסי ובבאוסי ובבקושוסי. Bakoshosi, our bakoshosi against the keshes. What is our bakoshosi against the keshes? The Chassam Sofer, every Parshas Noach, used to tell his Talmidim, the Pasuk said that Kashti nosati be'onon. And the Chassam Sofer used to say Kashti means Kedushosi, Shmi, Teirosi Yemini, it's Rosh Teves. Kedushosi, Shmi, Teirosi Yemini. And they didn't understand what the Chassam Sofer wants. One of his Talmidim, he's got the Sefer, Chover Ben Chaim, it's called the Sefer. It said, there's Miyam Shchov Beis HaMikdosh, there's a Mechitza Shel Barzel, doesn't let the tefillas come up to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Why? It said in the Pasuk, K'sakoisa be'onon loch ma'avor tefillah. HaKadosh Baruch Hu put a Mechitza, it's called onon, a cloud. But it said in the Tur, it brings a Medrash, לעולם יאמר אודום, עשה למען שמך, עשה למען ימינך, עשה למען קדושתך, עשה למען תירוסך, וזויכה ורואה פני שכינה. We don't have Shechina, we don't have Beis HaMikdash. But if somebody doesn't daven for himself, עשה למען שמך, עשה למען קדושתך, עשה למען תירוסך, עשה למען ימינך. This is what it means, this is what you want. את קשתי נוסעתי באונון. This goes through the onon. This go through this mechitza. This is what the Chod meant. This was the Chassam Sofer meant. So this is exactly the point that we differ from Ishmael. Ishmael is using HaKadosh Baruch Hu for his taivas, for his lowest of the low level. We, even when we daven, we want to do, we're asking for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But said, Rebbeinu Shalom, what are we doing it for? Not for us. If we really mean it, this is our kashti. Aseh leman shmecha, aseh leman yimnecha, Rebbeinu Shalom. It said in Nefesh HaChaim, Chaim Volozhiner brings, Chano iticha dvorim klapei malo. What's iticha dvorim klapei malo? So he brings from the Goyen. It said, "Vatispal chalo al Hashem." What's al Hashem? El Hashem. Towards Hashem. What's al Hashem? On HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Said Reb Chaim Volozhiner from the Goyen, "Chano daven, my tsar is your tsar. I don't want you to have a tsar. I can't control my tsar. Al Hashem." Everything, even her tsar, she was davening for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And what's Rashi brings, and what's Iticha dvorim klapi malo, Loshon Rashi, Loshon kemetacha veikeshes. This is our kashti. When we daven al Hashem, and we care for the Chilul Hashem that's going in the world. And one of the Talmidim of Chofetz Chaim, he said that he listened to the Chofetz Chaim davening once. Chaim used to go to his Aliyah's Gag and daven. He used to listen sometimes, and he said, Rebbeinu Shalom, I know and I understand how much you love us. And everything you do, you're doing for us because you want our good. And I know that this is the reason why you don't bring Mashiach, because all the suffering, everything we're going through, the reward is getting greater and greater, and you want to give us endless. I know it, Rebbeinu Shalom. But for you, Koved HaMechulel B'Goyim, because of Chilul Hashem, I'm a vater on everything, Rebbeinu Shalom. What did the Chofetz Chaim said? We don't care for Mashiach because we want to solve our problems. We want Mashiach because V'hoyo Hashem echod u'shmo echod. Aseh leman shmecho, aseh leman yiminecho, aseh leman kedushosecho, aseh leman teosecho. This is our tefillah for Mashiach. And if we live in this level and we understand that this is required as us, and this is the opposite part that we have against Ishmael, we understand, ki lo bechar bi evtoch, v'lo bekashti evtoch. This is not our bitochum, not cherev, not keshes, yevei, roive koshes. Roive is gone, what we call roive in Hebrew, is yoyre lemerochai. This is not our power. Our power is the real tefillah, and the real bakoshe. And tefillah is the words, is the outside part of the tefillah. And Bakosha, it said in the Meshechochme, that the nafkemina between Becharbi and Bekashti, Becharbi, the power is more the sword is sharp, it's got the koyach to kill. But Kashti, is more power you put into it, it goes further. So it said the words of the tefillah, the outside of the tefillah is the Charbi. But the kavone, what we give into this is Bekashti, this is our part of kavone of tefillah. So this is our koyach against Esav and Ishmael that facing us. If we will daven, and we understand what are we davening for, we understand what is our Mesiras Nefesh, what is Klal Yisrael against Ishmael. So Be'ezer Hashem, V'koros Shmo Yimonu Keil. And this, when we understand that our koyach is Yimonu Keil, we daven to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and the bitochen HaKadosh Baruch Hu, then V'koros Yeshua Choy Mesayich, then Yeshua will come to Klal Yisrael.